executive instruments by government and the national constitutions of these countries on one hand. We also have customary laws in the form of traditions. And in this sense, what we have is pluralistic legal system, and it is for us to try to reconcile and try to break gaps that occur if we are to have a successful legal system in the country. It is important that as lawyers, when we deliver our services, and I'm talking so not just mere practice of lawyers in court, but the state, it is important that those can play a meaningful role. In Ghana, and I believe it's so here as well, you have chiefdoms, chiefdom chiefs, clan chiefs, you have quarter chiefs, and it is very, very important that as chiefs we are able to discharge the functions that devolve for us. And one thing I've done since 1985, when I came into service of chiefs, is to collate or put together traditional proverbs. Because I've realized that when you're still chiefs, sometimes they don't speak much, but when they speak, it's in parables. And one of the proverbs I'd like to share with you is that they always say that in Ghana, chiefs, when they are talking, chiefs are the people to talk last. But when the chief talks last, it is final. What he says represents he and his people. He says it's not from his head personally, but it's on behalf of him and his elders. So we believe that whatever the discussion we have today, the chiefs will relate it to their elders at home, and then they also benefit. I would like to say something about customary law practice. In any system of law, any country, the law cannot cater for every type of situation that arises. Human beings react to different situations in different ways. That is why in one country, like in Ghana, we have different groups, ethnic groups or cultures. We have the Akan, or the tree speaking. We have in the north, you have the Dagumba, Mampusi, Wala. In the west, in the south, you have the Gan, you have the Ewe. All these communities have their own customary rules that they practice. But it is important that when it comes to the state law, which is the law of the Ghanaian government running through the country, for there to be unity and national interest served, we find that that law overrides all these other laws. And as lawyers, we know that sometimes certain cases or certain the way people may think, our norms, our beliefs, the way we perceive things differ. And so you find that some practices or customs that we practice may not be permissible or may not tally with the state law. I'm saying this particularly when it comes to issues about rights of people, liberties, so and so on. The fact is that no matter whatever groups we belong to, the fact is that we belong to one country, one people. Through all my research in chieftaincy in African countries, believe me to be, whether it's East Africa, South Africa, West Africa, the beliefs, the customs, the practices are the same. So the question this afternoon is, what can we do as chiefs, as traditional leaders? What can we do also to help to promote the cause of national development? This is a question that we are addressing in Ghana, and today we are going to address it here. Nobody can build a country on his own. It has to be through united effort. And the issue is, what can the chiefs, what can they also do to contribute? There's a lot they can do. Any government official who goes to any village or town or chiefdom, the first person he calls on is who? The chief. So it is very, very important that there is good working relationship, and policies of government are explained to the people down there by the chief. The point I'm making simply is this: customary law is part of the law. Customary law that pertains to the chieftains is part of the law of Liberia, and the chiefs is for them to also contribute towards the effort of the government of Liberia. Towards what? The national development of where? Liberia. There will be time for questions, and I see this as a discussion, like you were told earlier. At this point, I would like to say that this is a nice opportunity, and I believe that this should not be the last. It should even be possible that at a point, chiefs from all over the Western sub-region meet to discuss in the spirit of brotherliness, to share and solve common purposes and common goals. As for now, what I would say is that customary law is very important, and chiefs are in the forefront of customary law. Thank you.
I was born and bred in one of the smallest villages in Sierra Leone. And I'm here just to say a few words on customary law in Sierra Leone. In fact, it is my personal view that customary law was and is the first law of Sierra Leone. That's very important. It is the law of the people of Sierra Leone. And even the laws that we write in English with Western thinking recognizes customary law in Sierra Leone. That is our constitution, the first law. And we have, I will give some examples of rules of customary law that are not arguable in Sierra Leone. The first is the use of land. Land in Sierra Leone, particularly under traditional customary law, belongs to families whatsoever. But when you come to customary law land, no, the family has to agree, particularly the head of the family. And even where, for example, I want to give my land to my visiting friend, family land, the family agrees, the chief, the paramount chief, has to approve. So even though it's a family property, but the importance of the chief in the role of the land is very important in Sierra Leone. Of course, chieftaincy is also very important, because in Sierra Leone, of course, like in Liberia and everywhere else, there is no human settlement without a chief. Even if it's two people in a human settlement, one of them is a chief. He is the leader, he settles disputes, etc. Of course, we also have marriage. And the law about marriage in Sierra Leone, customary law, marriage, traditional marriage, is that one man like myself can lawfully marry as many wives as I want or can afford. But on the other hand, a woman cannot marry many husbands as she would like. Customary law does not accept that. I'm sure that's the same in Liberia. So we are the same people. Some women may grumble, but we are not here to talk about grumbling. I'm talking about the law. And thank God I'm a man. Although I'm here to have more than one wife. And also, just about something about marriage under customary law in Sierra Leone, some price, we call bride price, has to be paid for the woman. It could be in cash, or in kind, or even services. Without that price passing, the marriage has not been contracted. Illegally contracted without a chief being a witness. You can have thousands of witnesses, but if a chief is in law, the chief must be present for it to be properly contracted. And because marriage is one man, several wives, there is a way to control other men from interfering with my several wives under customary law marriage. So we have what we call woman damage, or woman damages, or woman palaver in Sierra Leone. So if I have 3 wives and my visiting brother to Sierra Leone gets an affair with one of them, I can go to court to sue him for woman damage. And if the court investigates and finds him that he had done that wrong, he pays a fee to me to compensate me for trespassing in one of my women. It is there. Now I make this point very sure. Woman damage is not available at all. Instead, the remedy available is divorce. So if you are being with a woman for 10 years, 20 years, you've got used to her, and then just for a single act of adultery by your friend, the only remedy available is to divorce, notwithstanding you are still attached to that woman. So I will submit that customary law woman damage is a better remedy. That's my view, even as a practicing lawyer. Because you still love the woman. If for an accidental adultery you have to divorce, then there's going to be a lot of problems. Also, no divorce like a marriage can properly be completed in the absence of a chief in Sierra Leone, customary law. There must be a chief as a witness. And then we have secret societies. We have one main one for the women. We have two main ones for the men. Of course, I cannot, by the name, I cannot tell you what happens in them because they are secret societies, but the laws accept them as secret societies. We also have what we call stranger reporting. In fact, when I was entering Liberia on Sunday, like I do all other borders, at the immigration, they ask you a lot of questions. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Why are you coming here? How long will you be here? Where will you be staying? I equated that to stranger, well, that was stranger announcing. But in the customary law, if a stranger, for example, if I'm in my village, my friend visits me, the law says I must take him to the chief and report him. That chief, please know that my friend has come. He has come from Liberia. He's a family friend. He's staying with me for 1 week, or he's coming to settle with me here for the rest of his life, etc. And then I must pay a fee. And stranger reporting. If I fail to do that, I have committed a criminal offense under customary law. The chief can sue me as the landlord or the host for failing to comply to report my friend or my guest. That's a very serious issue. What is important here, which I want to point out, is the reporting fee for a female guest and a male guest differs. The one for female guest is higher than the one for the male guest. And in my research, I asked chiefs why. The chief said the female, particularly a single female stranger, is the hotspot of suitors. Men who want to propose love to her, etc. And they say there is a potential fight that is in the making. And when the fight erupts into that law to suit his convenience at any given point in time. So that's one big problem we have. Also, this became very hot recently in Sierra Leone. They are saying we must make chieftaincy election democratic. That is, if we are here, let's say this is a village, I want to become chief, my brother wants to become chief, everybody, we must contest, everybody should vote for us, so the winner becomes the chief. In Sierra Leone, no. We have elders, wise people, knowledgeable people of the community who will come together and agree on who should be their chief. And before, it was not, it didn't involve fraud, it involved the issue of who is the oldest, who is the wisest, how much you've contributed to the community. But if, for example, my brother is the oldest, he knows more about this community than me, I'm the youngest, but I have more money, you say we vote all, I bribe most of you, you vote for me, I win, I become the chief, even though I have no knowledge or very little knowledge about what happens with the community. So when there's a dispute, you come to me to arbitrate, I cannot properly do it. That's the problem. But in Sierra Leone, this thing came up recently on the Chieftaincy Act, which was recently passed. The NGOs were there, no, let's make it democratic, people should vote, franchise, otherwise you are deprived of the right to vote, etc., etc. In fact, I was invited in one of the forum, and the first question I asked was that, unfortunately for the donor partner, DFID was supporting, DFID we know is from UK, and I said, has UK enfranchised the head of state of UK? No, it's monarchy. The head of state of the United Kingdom is not elected. The Queen is not elected. The King is not elected. So why do you want us to elect our paramount chiefs? So go first, make the head of state of UK popular franchise, and then when you come, we may begin to entertain. But what to cut a long story short is, the law passed that no, let us maintain the traditional way of electing paramount chiefs. The elders should come together and elect one of the big men among them. There's also this issue of some practices which are tagged harmful traditional African practices, including some practices in our secret societies. It's a very challenging issue, and the debate is continuing because it is a secret society issue. I'm not going to talk about it. As customary officer, the law does not permit me to talk about people's customary practices. And so, but the debate is going. There are arguments for and against. In Sierra Leone, quite recently, a radio reporter reported what happened in the secret society bush, and then the elders of that secret society came and abducted her and took her to the bush. So it became very controversial. And the NGOs were pushing, we must charge those elders for unlawful abduction. And my opinion was not as customary law officer. And I asked, I said, no, that's the second question you are asking. You not ask the first question. Have we charged this person for exposing people's secret society? That's the first thing we must consider. But we have a big challenge. But I'm not just saying we must not listen to those arguments, because now the world is like one small village. What happens here today in Liberia will affect Sierra Leone. What happens in Sierra Leone will affect Liberia. What happens in America will affect Liberia and Sierra Leone. So we must encourage those discussions so that we have a good law, a midway law that will be good for all of us. That's my address, and I will encourage you to listen. Encourage listening, even if it is between Mandingos and the Grand. The laws are not the same, but encourage discussions and come to one. so that we have one uniform law for Liberia, we have one, and then we begin one law for Sierra Leone, West Africa, and then we'll go one law for Africa, and then we can have one law for the whole world. Thank you very much for your attention.
Who will tell about how we're doing here in Liberia?
And we got some of those seen law in Liberia. Yeah. Before you marry, and you got a chief got to agree. Yeah. But in Liberia, we got two ways to do it. We got two law systems here. We got our traditional law that we the country borrow, you know, how we solve problem in our time, right? Yeah. Then we got a quick big law. Yeah. We got temporal justice law. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like two systems we got in the country, right? Yeah. And our constitution, the big law for Liberia. The law say, that big law for Liberia, they call it constitution, it say all the good things for our culture, all the books are for our tradition. Thank you. They say all the good things by our culture and tradition, we must put it up. We must promote it, right? Yes. And you that be well. So, but sometimes when they put many law here, sometimes our tradition, the way we will do things on the countryside, it conflict with the queen law, right? Yeah. For instance, you know something we used to do that before, they say, man, I do it now. Yeah. That's the queen law. And in Liberia here, the way we make it, we make the queen law on top of the country law. Right? Is that true? Yeah. So we need to start thinking now how we can put ideas together, and without I want y'all to, because you see, we don't know it all. That's my audio, we a lawyer. We'll be acting like we know it all. You know what happened? A general way the kids are doing the village. When the men then sit down, they talk, they can't come to conclusion, what they'll do? They go home and add the women there, right? Yeah. Then the women that get add the power, check us out, come and make it big here. We the men who got idea. So we now, we feel that your people got idea too. Right? Yeah. So 1 year some of your ideas, because the customary law, there are problems inside, and the queen law there are problems inside. It's only the country law, for instance, general council of this say, oh, you're not ready now. Right? Yeah. The way I explained to my son, and my son is stupid man, you know, yeah, good. Anyways, for the law, maybe we need to start thinking about how we can put some law, because another thing in Liberia again, we got how many tribes? 16 tribes here, right? Yeah. All the tribes all the same. No. Everybody do it according to their own tribe. Look at the Google one, every tribe want to see how we can put it together. Then we get one traditional law for Liberia. You see what I mean, eh? Yeah. That Mandingo man can apply to Mandingo man, with a Basapo, it can come to us, it can go to Gola man, it can go to Pellet man, it can go to everybody. Then what they call. Then maybe the people will not put a traditional law under the Queen people law. Yeah. Maybe we need to, you know the idea. Maybe we need to find a way how we can put the two laws there together. Because the big court for Liberia, way back, they say Manaju Sasewu. Yeah. But then they made law and they gave paper to people to do Sasewu. Right? Yeah. Then they take about 40 feet, they say no more Sasewu. Yeah. By the way, your idea, you want to talking. So, this is now, that's your idea, right? Yeah. We need for them. The way the basketball are doing and the way the basketball are doing, is different. Yeah. You think it's not good that we can find a way to maybe, that idea talking, I say, well, but at least we can sit down. The people from Cape Mount, the people from Bassa, from all over the country will get together, you're the chief there, you all know the tradition. And you can find a way where we can make the laws in such a way that it can work for everybody. For instance, the way you marry on this side different. The way where I want to divorce my wife, and you got a different way to do it. Now, the Queen people party got a way to do it too. You see it? So, sometimes too, when I not satisfied my heart hating in the judgment, the chief day or the let's take the Queen side for it. The magistrate there, you know the magistrate there. The board will let eat money from people there. In the same way in our tradition, and we got first to go, in the clan chief day, the town chief day, you not satisfied, you go to the clan chief. You not satisfied, you go to paramount chief. So now you be to district commissioner and all that way, right? But if we don't have, we can go back, second go. Then you got to go to Supreme Court. You got raised you to go to Supreme Court? Well, lawyer for one money need, right? Maybe when you're sitting down and you're talking, there's somebody you need to talk about, how they can find way and idea for the traditional people who got a problem, to solve it. That's how they can go. Maybe when I support the law, they will always catch me anywhere in the country, right? Okay. So these are ideas, and they're trying to tell you, but we got two systems in the country, and the two systems, they got sometimes a big confusion among them between the two systems, right? Because sometimes, like I say, I don't understand how you're supposed to do a tradition. In tradition called lawyer or can't there? You fool. They will scare him somewhere. Or the people and later they will take it all and they will go somewhere. Right? We can't play with tradition. But maybe we need to find how we can find a way to draw the two together so that we can protect, because we can protect all our people, because our constitution says the law must be applied to everybody equally. So, yeah. So, Mr. Promoko.
No, now you can. Don't rock it. They will throw you down.
Okay.
They have it ready now. Yeah, you are ready.
Thank you very much.
I know most of the chiefs and our mothers and fathers know me because we've been going meeting with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our tradition says when the big people finish talking, small child shouldn't talk long. Yes, we as a group of lawyers came together through the help of other friends to say we need to know a little more about our custom and tradition. And one of the reasons we hear, and our friends from Customary and other people help us to bring others from the region, is to still talk about our African culture and custom. I want to talk just for 2-3 minutes, and if I see there will be questions, then I will talk. I will answer some, or I will take part. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Let's remember these few things. Long ago, before, say the way we always say that the white man could come and other things can come, we always had our own African way of solving palaver, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when we came and we formed our country, we developed it on what we used to call the cellular way, but the other way that we learned from America and other places. I should tell you that that is not strange. That is the same that happened in Sierra Leone, that happened in Ghana, that happened all over. Two things had to be done. If we bring in the one that we learned from the white man, we also used to be here to solve problems. We must keep our own African way.
Yeah.
That is why, listen so you understand it, that is why we have two systems. We say if you want to marry, you can marry under our African system or you can marry under our Western system. But there were reasons which they also said that I want you to remember as you ask your question. That most of what we used to do to solve our problem were based on things that we were doing when we were just farming. No car was there. No electricity was there. All these things that they brought together now were not there at the time. So as society is changing, we had to change. We introduced the idea of writing. He told you from Sierra Leone that one of the problems that we have is that our own African law, only the chiefs and the elders know it. And when some of those ones who knew they died, we don't even know whether their children know it good. The second reason is because it was farming time. Some of the things we used to do that I saw you clapping for here